still remember the first time I heard about the Greg Flanagan case. It was one of those stories that didn't make sense. Not then. Not for a long time. A man alone, in a quiet hotel room. No sign of a break-in. No visible wounds. But inside, his body told a different story. Something brutal. Something violent. The police had nothing. No motive. No suspect. Just questions that nobody could answer. How do you die from injuries that look like you were in a car crash, without a single mark on the outside? For months, the case just sat there, cold, until someone looked closer. Someone who noticed what everyone else missed. Two small things so easy to overlook, so obvious once you saw them. This isn't just a story about a crime, it's about how the truth can hide in plain sight. And tonight, I'm going to show you how it all came together. Greg Flanagan lived a life characterized by simplicity, regularity, and an orderly precision shaped by years of habit. Having worked as a chief engineer on ships that crossed oceans, a job that consumed much of his youth, he later shifted to a career on solid ground, working as a landman in the oil and gas industry. This job was based in Beaumont, Texas, which brought him nearer to his wife Susie, who lived in Lafayette, Louisiana. Although it continued to involve a weekly commute, every Monday he drove 2 hours west on Interstate 10 to stay at the MCM Eleganté Hotel in Beaumont, a place that wasn't fancy but suited him perfectly. He was a man of unwavering routine. He packed lightly and kept things neat. In his room, 348, situated in the hotel's cabana wing with a view of a small pool, he treated his open suitcase like a portable closet. Soiled garments were left on the closet floor. Wrinkle-free shirts hung above. His personal care items were stored methodically in a fabric holder attached to the towel rack in the bathroom. Most nights, he didn't go out. He would turn the air conditioner up high. He preferred a cold room for sleeping and settle onto the queen-size bed, propped against 2 pillows arranged at the headboard. In a thoughtful effort to keep the bedspread clean, he would spread out a fresh hand towel. On it, he arranged his ashtray, cigarettes, lighter, BlackBerry, television remote, and a candy bar. The evening of Wednesday, September 15, 2010, unfolded just like any other. After getting unpacked, he got comfortable. He lit a cigarette, opened a Reese's Crispy Crunchy bar, drank root beer, and started watching Iron Man 2. A little after 7, an email came in from his wife Susie, who was working on a tax extension. After she updated him, he replied, "You're doing good, babe." Everything pointed to another perfectly ordinary night, but he never saw how the movie ended. Somewhere during the film's loud digital finale, amid a whirlwind of manufactured action, Greg was hit out of nowhere by a real and devastating strike, so violent it would have overwhelmed him with pain. He made it off the bed and moved several feet toward the door before collapsing, legs sprawling, face down onto the green carpet. He was most likely already dead when his face struck the floor. A cigarette, burned down to the filter, was still held in the fingers of his left hand. His wife, Susie, grew concerned the next morning when her usual call from Greg didn't come. He was never late. After her calls went straight through without an answer, she got in touch with his office in Beaumont. 2 co-workers went to the hotel and, when no one answered the door, had the manager unlock it. What they saw was startling. Greg's motionless body stretched out on the carpet. It looked as though he had fallen to his knees before pitching forward, one arm pinned under his body. Right away, they noticed the room was surprisingly warm, a strange detail, given Greg's known habit of keeping things icy. A puzzling crime scene and a startling autopsy. Detective Scott Apple was among those who responded. The room displayed no signs of breaking and entering, or any kind of fight. Greg's wallet remained in his jeans, still holding several $100s. Nothing was taken, and no drugs, alcohol, or prescription bottles were found. Other guests reported nothing out of the ordinary. The only visible wound was a small scrape on Greg's cheek, likely from his fall. Considering his history of smoking and less than healthy eating, early guesses leaned toward natural causes. Susie mentioned she had long worried that Greg might have a heart attack. But the autopsy, performed by medical examiner Dr. Tommy Brown, revealed something much more alarming. Greg's internal injuries were both severe and strange. His ribs were broken, his heart was pierced, his organs were torn. Blood filled his abdomen, and material from his intestines had leaked into his body. These injuries matched the kind of damage seen in high-impact events, like car wrecks or crushing accidents. Yet his body showed no external signs of such violence. The only other mark was a slight, seemingly unimportant abrasion near his groin. Despite the total absence of external clues, Dr. Brown declared that Greg had been killed intentionally, and the case was officially deemed a homicide. Detective Apple's investigation produced few results. Greg was widely seen as a friendly, well-liked man with no adversaries. He was dedicated to his wife and led a calm, quiet life. There was no clear motive for murder. Baffled by the bizarre internal injuries and the unexplained warmth of the room, the Beaumont police found themselves at a standstill. After months without progress, the case went cold. Intent on finding answers, Susie Flanagan hired private investigator Ken Brennan 7 months after Greg's passing. Brennan, an ex-DEA agent and former Long Island policeman known for tackling hopeless cases, went over the crime scene photos and autopsy report with Detective Apple. Right away, Brennan spotted 2 key inconsistencies everyone had overlooked. The air conditioner. It was switched off when the body was found. Susie confirmed Greg always ran it at full blast. Brennan linked this to a power outage reported at the hotel that night, and concluded Greg died moments after electricity returned before he could turn the AC back on. The cigarette. The extinguished cigarette was in Greg's left hand. Susie stated he was right-handed and only smoked with his right. After reviewing the evidence, Brennan declared, "I think I know how this guy died. I think I know when he died. I think I know who killed him, and I think I know how we're going to catch him." The breakthrough and the truth. Brennan went back to the Eleganté Hotel. He inspected Greg's room and the one next door, 349, where 2 electricians, Lance Mueller and Tim Steinmetz, had been staying. He observed a repaired patch on the wall near Greg's door. In room 349, he discovered a small hole in the wall, plugged with toothpaste. Forensic testing later confirmed the hole lined up exactly with where Greg had been sitting on the bed. Brennan and Detective Apple approached the electricians. Under questioning, Mueller admitted they had been drinking heavily that night. Mueller had taken a pistol from his car and was fooling around with it when the gun went off accidentally. The bullet ripped through the wall into Greg's room. Thinking no one was injured, the men plugged the hole with toothpaste and went out to a bar. When they returned, they heard Greg coughing and assumed he was okay. Even after learning he had died, they persuaded themselves the events were unrelated. Faced with the evidence, Mueller was charged with manslaughter and received a 10-year prison sentence. What first seemed a natural tragedy, then an insoluble murder, turned out to be a needless accident caused by carelessness. This case remains a stark lesson in how recklessness can lead to ruin, and how dedicated persistence and skilled detection can finally achieve justice. If you found the story likable, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more. Your support helps me bring more unsolved cases, shocking discoveries, and expert breakdowns right here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.